welcome or welcome back. My name is Jennifer, and here on my channel I like to chat about all things beauty and makeup. And today I have my Project EYEmageddon project pan. So this project, I explain all about it in my intro, but I'll try to give like a real quick synopsis. Was inspired by Andie over at Makeup in the Mundane. So Andie was inspired by a couple other YouTubers. I will put down in the description box links to all of the channels I know that have done some form of a Project EYEmageddon. So for me, I wanted to do my singles collection, and I had rolled in several shades last time, and I believe, I don't remember if I remembered to put on, to roll in a Super Shock during my video last time, but we will definitely have one. Let's talk generally about how I did this month. We have two rollouts. I did not think it through when I was doing all random roll-ins that I could end up with some very springy colors that I am highly unmotivated to work on. So if you didn't catch it on my intro or you're just tuning in, my goal in this project is to work through my singles collection, figure out which shades I actually don't need to hold on to, which ones I definitely love and want to keep. I want to do things a little bit differently. I don't want everything to be randomly generated. I do still want to do a random spin, but I definitely want to also be picking shades that I'm naturally gravitating towards during each season. So hopefully between those two options, we'll get a good healthy mix, and I'll be more successful in this project. So overall goal is 3 uses on each shade. If I do not use the shade even one time in that 3 months, then it goes into a palette of purgatory. I can save the shadow by using it from the palette of purgatory. But if I still have not used it even one time by the end of this project, then I need to declutter it. Or in the very least, I need to seriously give thought to decluttering it. My goal is to just declutter it. Now, if it just didn't get rolled into the project, we're not going to count that against me. Because I don't know that I can actually work through all of my singles in a year. This may be something that rolls into next year. I don't really have a set end date right now, but enough rambling. Let's go ahead and get on into how I did this month. I do have 2 rollouts, these 2 shades right here. The first one is this random shade that doesn't have a name from Sydney Grace. I'm pretty sure it was from a Sydney Grace palette that I deconstructed, Where the Wild Things Grow, I think. I don't remember stealing shades out of any other palettes, and I'm pretty sure all of those were left completely intact. So this is just a really basic satin taupey kind of shade, but it did make for a very pretty, just like subtle inner corner shade. And so anytime I did a look where the palette didn't have an inner corner and it was more neutral, I would use this. And then any time it was maybe a little more fun, a little more pink leaning, I used the shade Pink Lemonade from Look-See. And anyone familiar with Look-See, I did mention it previously, but yeah, they stole a bunch of people's money. I don't like what they did, but I paid for my shadows and I don't want them to go to waste. So that's what Strawberry Lemonade looked like right here. And I actually used the shade Lost in Space from Terra Moons today. So this did get 1 use. But since we haven't made it to 3 uses or 3 months, I'm actually going to leave it in. And then let me go over the rest of the shades. So ColourPop Ghostin' I used one time. I actually did use this as like a transition shade for a more colorful like purple look. And then Cleona Hedge Maze, was that the darker one? Yes, so Cleona Hedge Maze I used one time as well. And then I did not use, okay, so I did not use at all Cleona Duke. This is simply a shade that I just definitely would reach for more in the spring. It's a beautiful bright green with like a yellow gold kind of reflect. And then same thing for these two shades from Lethal. So this is the shade Venom and the shade Afterglow. So even though these two shades I still feel are more like springy to me, I'm gonna go ahead and leave them in. This one, even though I don't really pull for greens a lot right now, I'm fine leaving that one in as well. But I'm gonna veto the two Lethal shades and the one Cleona shade. And I think that's gonna be my like one veto that I get per quarter. And honestly, if I had thought through on my selection and how I use my shadows, I never would have pulled in that many shades that aren't really like what I would be reaching for this time of year. So I also pulled in a ColourPop Super Shock. I did the shade Tassel, which is just a white with a kind of like a silvery reflect. So with that being said, I have space for 5 more shades and 1 Super Shock. Even though I didn't meet my goal on Tassel, I forgot about it. So I kind of want to see what other shades I end up rolling in, and then from there we'll decide what Super Shock I want. And I think I want to do the same. I want to pick, like hand pick my Super Shock, because I have quite a few shades that are really very springy for me and that I know I won't reach for this time of year. Even though I'm wearing a like hot pink and orange look today, this is not my regular. So like I would have a really difficult time, I think, working on a lot of these. So I want to be a little more selective about them, but as I complete them, then I'm going to put them in a different section in my vanity so I can kind of keep track of what I've used and what I haven't. Okay, now that we got all that out of the way, in my first hand-picked shade, I want to pull in the shade Rose Remix from, what are you from? You don't say the brand on the back. I think this is from Give Me Glow. And I'll swatch out all the shades that I'll be working on once we're done. And then I'm trying to think if I want anything else. These are all the shades pretty much that I got for Christmas. And I've used a couple, but I'm just kind of looking to see if I want to use any others right now. So this is from Davina, and this is OMG. So I'm going to pull this one in. And that's it from this palette. I have a wheel set up on my Tiny Decisions app that has all of my Lethal, Looksy, Terra Moons, and the few Makeup Geek shadows that I have left. I think this is up to date, but there may be some that I decluttered. So And then also it does not include my Cleona shades, and it doesn't include anything new that I received for Christmas, but I don't think he did anything from Terra Moons. So this should be fairly up to date. Anyways, oh my gosh. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll roll in 2 from here. We got Lethal Cosmetics Dahlia. Well, I may as well roll another one while we're here. Okay, so we have Dahlia and Lethal Cosmetics Hollow. So let me go find those 2 and then I'll be back. Okay, I found the Lethal shades. They came from each of my palettes. Even though I use these as whole palettes, sometimes I did put all the shades in here since I can remove them and work on them. So Hollow came from the Velvet Dust palette, and it is just a matte brown. So that one will be easy enough, I think. The shade Dahlia, I'm actually going to not use because it is basically the same shade as ColourPop Ghostin', and I don't think that is very helpful. It is like slightly a little bit deeper, but on the eyes, I feel like they would be about the same, I think. Well, let me swatch it. Maybe they're ones I could use together. I think they're different enough. I can use them. I can use them both. I don't know how many purple looks I'm doing lately, but that's okay. So, sorry, the shade Dahlia actually came from my Night Flower palette. I think I held up the wrong one. I think I held up the After Dark. But it came from Night Flower. This is a gorgeous color story, man. Beautiful purple. I'm actually going to pull this whole palette out because I may get a use on that shade with this palette. So I'll put this in my like everyday makeup area. Okay, so this is my Cleona singles, and it's not everything. So I think I want to, I kind of want to look through these and just kind of peruse and see if anything jumps out at me. And if not, then we'll do a random roll in. Ooh. Okay, so one of my favorite, oh no, okay. In my large Cleona palette, any shades that I have already reached for, I'm putting over on this side so that I know that they're good. I'm naturally reaching for them. I don't need to pull them into this project. So I have the shade Sculpture that I don't think I've ever used, and I know it's not like a new one, so I think I want to pull that in since it's a little purplish. I could also potentially use it with the brown matte. I have some singles here from Simply Push. These are the last few Makeup Geek I have. I'm not sure if all 3 of these are in the spinny wheel. I'll make sure of that before my next video. I actually sat down to do that the other day and realized that my iPad was dead. So, oh yeah, okay. So this was like my repressing foray that I did with Kaleidos. So let me pull in 1 or 2 of these. All right, so I'm gonna pull these 2 in. I actually think this is from the Flower Beauty palette, and this is from Kaleidos Escape Pod. So I'm gonna pull these 2 in. Let's see. Ooh, I still have more room. I'm just gonna fill this palette up. Like, let's just have some fun. Hold ourselves back by numbers. Let's look at my last palette of Cleona. So I've got this, and then I have 2 quads that came in the mystery box or the advent calendar. I feel like I'm not going to reach for these jewel tone-ish ones. Ooh, I've been looking for a blue like that. Not because I want to wear it right now. I saw it in a palette and really wanted it. And it's good to know I actually have one. I don't need to buy that palette. But I feel like this shade is a little too similar to the other ones I'm working on. So nothing from that quad. Yeah, this I think will be beautiful in spring, so I'm gonna hold off on this one too. I'm not gonna pull in a color pop since I already have a color pop right here, and I think 3 mattes is probably the max of what I want to work on, so I don't think I want to pull in another Sydney Grace this month. I think I want to hold off on that. But let's pick one more shade from this palette. I'm feeling like one of these two. I want to do Calligraphy. I don't know if this is a shade I'll like. It's very gold leaning, but I think it would pair really well with that matte brown. So I'm gonna make sure before my next update, I'm a little more organized with my spinny wheels so that we can do a few more random shades, but I appreciate that this is how many we have. I actually have room for a few more, but I think this is enough. So let me get these swatched out and then I'll be right back. All right, so all swatched out. These are the shades I will be working on. These 3 are the 3 that will be rolling over, but these are the 11 shades that I hope to get some use on or decide to declutter. Obviously, probably not decluttering my new ones, but still wanted to give myself permission to play with the new stuff. If you like this video, if you like project panning, if you like me, I hope you'll give me a big thumbs up. And if you would like to see more makeup and beauty content from me, just hit that subscribe button and I will have more coming at you. I hope wherever you are, you have a wonderful day. Bye. No, okay. We're gonna scratch that and start over. Let's try that again. Kind of like a silvery reflect. We're okay. The whole pan fell out. It's fine. It's one of the first super shocks I ever got. Panicked. Internal panic there for a second. Oh Lord, it's gonna take me a minute to find this shade. Oh, I know what this is from. Okay, we'll deal with that another time. Side note, we will not be talking about what my base looks like today because we are hate panning some foundation. That is all I have to say about that. Also, I don't know what happened to the blush. It looked so pink and then didn't. I don't know. What do we think of this lipstick shade on me? I mean, I know it's a little loud with the eyes and the lipstick, but I love this color from Tarte. It's the shade Sea Goddess, and it looks so purple, but on me, it looks kind of hot pink. I don't know.